Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Portsmouth Schools Foundation Board of Directors and myself, I'd like to welcome you to what will be the best 2 hours out of your day. And you're probably thinking, how does she know that? Well, you're in great company. We're about to partake in a delicious breakfast buffet, and we're here for a sole purpose to find out exactly what's been going on with our school district. So I know Dr. Bracy has a lot of wonderful things to share. So at this time, we're going to have the IC Norcom JROTC, followed by Kyra Sugars with a solo, the national anthem, and then Mr. Roy Corby with the Rivers Casino Portsmouth. He's going to do the welcome. Thank you. Please stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's give these young people another hand. Now we'll have remarks from Roy Corby.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Bracy, Charlotte Hardy, and the Portsmouth School Board Foundation for the opportunity to greet you all today on behalf of the Rivers Casino Portsmouth team. It's truly an honor to welcome you to our event center for such an important gathering. Rivers Casino proudly joined the Portsmouth community nearly 2 years ago with a commitment to serving as a strong economic engine, a proud community partner, and a great place to work. More specifically, we wanted to be intentional about adding value to the local community. That's the commitment Rivers Casinos make in all markets. Our longstanding community engagement initiative, Rivers Gives, is underpinned by several giving pillars, one being education, and those partnerships span the K-12 system and extend through post-secondary institutions. Supporting education is so fundamental to our workplace culture that we recently engaged with our longstanding partner, Tidewater Community College, to develop 2 courses specifically for all of our team members. We share the Portsmouth School Foundation belief system that Portsmouth public school students and the entire community benefit from a stronger education system, and the business community is one of the greatest beneficiaries of that. Every day, you all are doing the hard, hands-on work to ensure the emerging workforce is ready to meet the demands of employers in our region, and we appreciate the opportunity to support you in that impactful work. I'm also grateful that one of my senior team members, Vincetta Dickerson, has volunteered to serve alongside all of you on the board. Thank you, Vincetta. Again, thank you for choosing Rivers Casino Portsmouth as your venue of choice. We trust that you will enjoy the meal prepared by our hospitality team and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Good morning again. I'd like to welcome you all again to the Portsmouth Public Schools State of the Schools event. We're thrilled to have you here join us as we gather to celebrate the progress and achievements of our school community. This morning, we'll reflect on the challenges we face, the strides we've made, and the excellent path ahead for our students, staff, and families. This is a time to highlight the hard work of our educators, the successes of our students, and the collaboration of our entire community. Your presence here shows your commitment to the future of our schools, and we're excited to share this journey with you. Thank you for being here and for your continued support as we work together to ensure that every student thrives. Let's continue to make this morning inspiring and forward-looking as we all shine brighter together. Now I'd like to take this moment to recognize all of our elected officials who are here in attendance. First, I'd like to recognize the Honorable Congressman Bobby Scott, our very own Senate Pro Tem Senator L. Louise Lucas, Speaker of the House, Mr. Don Scott, the Honorable Delegate Cliff Hayes, Clerk of the Court, the Honorable Cynthia Morrison, representing our City Council, Vice Mayor Lisa Lucas Burke, Councilman the Honorable Mark Hugel, Councilman the Honorable Mr. Vernon Tillage, representing our school board, myself, Dr. Claudio Patillo, Chair, Vice Chair Lakeisha Clue Atkinson, Board Member Quinea Futrell, Board Member Irene Boone, Board Member Tamara Shoemake, Board Member Yolanda Edmonds-Thomas, and last but not least, the Honorable Dr. Melvin Cotton. Thank you all for your attendance. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed superintendent. I was elected in 2014 in November, and immediately I was placed in the midst of superintendent interviews. And the first interview that I sat on was none other than Dr. Elie Bracy. My first official vote as a Portsmouth Public School Board member was the best vote I ever could have cast since being a board member, and that was to nominate and elect Dr. Elie Bracy as our superintendent. Since his coming to Portsmouth Public Schools, we have grown in many ways. He's been a superintendent not only for students, but for the staff and also the community. And in my personal opinion, I say all across the state, he's the best superintendent on this side of heaven. So at this time, please join me in welcoming Dr. Elie Bracy, Superintendent of Portsmouth Public Schools.
Good morning. And thank you, Dr. Patillo, for that kind introduction. You know, I'm fortunate to have you as the board chair and definitely of the school board and the rest of the board members. I'm pleased to have you all as well. But Dr. Patillo is not just supportive of me personally, but our entire team and division. So can we give our school board another round of applause? I also want to thank the Portsmouth School Foundation for hosting this incredible event this morning. It's a privilege to be here with this large group of esteemed guests to talk about our school division, because that's possible because we have a foundation and the hard work that they've put into this event. Help me thank them for their work this morning. Now, this is a new experience for me, having back-to-back State of the Schools addresses to give. Typically, you know, this is a biannual event. You know, we're on a biannual event schedule. Last year, we gathered at the Edmonds Center, and we laid out plans for the division, notably for our work with career and technical education, which, do not worry, I'll get to that again this year. But as we were meeting with the foundation and talking to staff, we realized that we could not wait another 2 years to bring this event back again. We have too many other great things that we need to share with you. Hence, here we are, and I thank you for being here with us today and coming back out to show your support and investment in our division. We know that education is a community effort, and seeing one here today reinforces the power of the Portsmouth community. You may be asking yourself, why would I say education is a community effort? Well, the simplest answer is because so much of what our schools provide extends beyond the classroom. It's a partnership with our families, our students, our teachers, our city, our law enforcement, and many other entities. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Last year was the first year that student attendance was counted as part of our school accreditation model. School attendance. That means that if our teachers give students everything they need instructionally, students pass the SOL test and showcase mastery of the state standards, schools still could lose accreditation if too many students missed too many days from school. This was especially troubling for our division, where chronic absenteeism is a major problem. In the beginning of the 2023-24 school year, we had more than 30% of our students who were chronically absent. And let's be clear, we did our due diligence. We sent letters home, our staff made phone calls, we sent reminders to parents, but in cities like ours, where you have a poverty rate roughly at 18%, there are real reasons families elect to keep their children at home. As an example, our high school students are not just students. They can be emergency daycare providers for young ones in the home, the needed chauffeur for older relatives, or they could be another income provider for the household. Alas, with this new accreditation model, last year, our Director of Student Services, Dr. Angela Flowers, got to work. She developed materials and a web page for our families, as you can see on screen, including a custom attendance video. She put together an attendance recovery team of experts who came in and worked with schools directly and to come up with strategies to support the whole families in getting their child to school. This included everything from direct transportation for the child, meals provided for the home, developing homebound instructional models, and instructional recovery opportunities for after school and on the weekends. We've partnered with Everyday Labs to track and monitor student attendance, as well as provide additional resources. Through all of these efforts, our chronic absentee data dropped more than 12% last year. Our lowest absentee data in a decade, and just 2 percentage points higher than state average. This work was so well done, the team was included in attendance stories, news stories by the Virginian Pilot, and other television interviews. Dr. Flowers is here with us. Can we please give her a round of applause while she stands to be recognized? We're proud to have Dr. Flowers working here in Portsmouth Public Schools and grateful for all she has done for the division in her career here. Now, did I mention a little word earlier, accreditation? The path to accreditation has been particularly demanding, and there have been some continual updates and changes to the state's accreditation system. That said, we cannot share enough that all of our schools are either fully accredited or fully accredited with conditions from the state, meaning none of our schools are on an action plan or under state review. Yes, we're proud of our students' achievements, and I'm here to tell you, I only see this performance continue to grow as we're structuring and strategically staffing our central supports in order to better pour into our classrooms. This includes a routine analysis of student data, working with professional learning communities, or PLCs, to meet students where they are and find ways to connect them with the content in real and meaningful ways. Dr. DeVries, our Chief Academic Officer, is here with us today, and she could go on for great lengths about the importance of PLCs in our division, as she has been leading the charge with our school principals, content coordinators, specialists, and of course, teachers. This will remain a top priority for our division in years to come. Of course, as we talk about top priorities, we also know that school safety and security are on the top of mind for many of our families and staff members. In 2022, we became the first school division in the region to deploy the evolved weapon detection systems in our middle and high schools. In 2023, we expanded that to all elementary schools and preschool centers. This past year, we supplemented these with additional outdoor units that can be transported around campuses to support athletic competitions and other school-based events. We've worked with law enforcement to ensure we're doing everything we can from a proactive standpoint to keep our schools safe. This includes hiring additional security personnel, connecting our camera systems with the police fusion system, and including tabletop training with our school administrators. Above all, we know the strongest piece to security is not more technology. The best resource we have in keeping our schools safe are the relationships that we build with students and staff. Do we have their trust? Are we constantly communicating in the fun times and in the tense times? Do our students know we only want what's best for them? Those relationships are crucial because students who feel safe will come forward when they see or hear something. When students know they will be believed, they will be more willing to share. And I want to commend Lieutenant Kenneth White, our school resource officer liaison from the Portsmouth Sheriff's Office, who has modeled this not just for our SROs and security staff, but for all of our school administrators. He is available seemingly 24/7, always there to support schools. His compassion for our students is unmatched, but let's be clear, he also lays down the law, when and where it's needed to keep our students accountable. Lieutenant White is here, he's here with us today. Can we please give him a round of applause? Will you please stand and be recognized, Lieutenant White? Thank you, and know that we graciously appreciate what you do for us in Portsmouth Public Schools. You see, there's no denying that public education has unique obstacles that were not even considered 20, 30 years ago. However, what I hope you walk away with this morning is appreciating that we have incredible staff members in place who are willing to rise to those challenges each and every day. In fact, as you know, Portsmouth Public Schools, we're shining brighter together. Last year, we launched our Shining Light Awards, where we highlighted our staff members who go above and beyond each day in their daily roles. We had more than 30 of our employees celebrated last year, including Dallas Van Leer, one of our first honorees. Here's what was written about him. Mr. Van Leer is a light for so many of our students. As one of the few males in our building, he serves as a role model for our boys. Whenever he is needed, he is right there for students and staff. When he sees a need, he feels the need. If a student is needing shoes, Mr. Van Leer will run out during his planning and buy them with his own money. Or when a student was evicted, he supplied the young man with a duffel bag of clothes to start the school year. Mr. Van Leer truly cares about the community of Portsmouth and the students of Churchland Academy Elementary Schools. He's here with us today. Mr. Van Leer, can you please stand and be recognized? It's because of staff members like Mr. Van Leer that we're truly doing elite work in our division. This is why we remain undeterred in our work to compensate our staff members as competitively as possible so we don't lose teachers like Mr. Van Leer. For the past year and a half, we've been working with a contractor firm to address pay compression, which we know is the #1 issue in the retention of our staff. How does compression occur? For so long, we've worked within our budget to stay competitive as possible with regional divisions regarding compensation. We have mainly done this through annual raises, but no step increases to our salary scale. Our last salary increase came in my first budget year, in my first recommendation, which went into effect 8 years ago in 2016. This is what leads to pay compression for veteran teachers because all employees receive raises. Those with additional years of service are not compensated for their time and expertise. Just last month, we received the firm's final recommendations for how we can address compensation. We've taken those numbers, added in the vacancies, as well as the benefit data to be able to advocate with our city colleagues to meet the needs of our teachers. This will be the #1 budget request from the division, and according to calculations from our firm, once in place, we'll be the highest paying division for teachers in the region. I was waiting on the applause for that one. And we're excited about the possibility because we know teachers who will come to us will be joining a winning team here in Portsmouth. Let's talk about our students for a moment. Our class of 2024 had 274 honor graduates, and 172 of those graduates earned college courses through our First College program. This class earned $11.6 million in merit-based scholarships and were accepted into 175 colleges and universities, including Harvard, Yale, Brown, Stanford, and Princeton, just to name a few. Our dual enrollment program is where, thanks to our partnership with TCC, who's present with us today, students can attend college while in school with us. We have long led the region in the amount of students earning their associate's degree before graduating from high school. This year, we had 39 students achieve this incredible accomplishment. That was about a 50% increase from last year when 26 students completed the degree. We're continuing to diversify our CTE offerings, seeing students succeed. This year, we more than doubled the number of students who took part in our CTE sign-in day, which is where we celebrated them signing into a career of their choosing and being gainfully employed right after they graduate. Look at those smiling faces, and a couple of pretty big checks, too. You walked through some beautiful artwork on your way in today, and I want to tell you about our coordinator for visual art, April Taylor Martin, who has helped our students get experience putting exhibits together, having their work highlighted. Like last year, we took part in the 2024 Hampton Roads Student Gallery, and artists from around the region got to see just how incredible our students are. And I would have to mention, we also saw our students excel. Out of 300 entries, our own Zion McAllister was one of just 20 selections to be named a gallery honoree. As she said, I've always been interested in art. It makes me feel like I can talk without speaking. The things I make have some sort of message behind them. It's fun to tell a story. Our students are succeeding, and that is due in no small part to our dedicated staff members creating amazing opportunities and showing how to excel in their careers. For example, we have dynamic division events like our annual color run. About 1,000 people come out on a Saturday morning to walk a 3K, have colors thrown at them, and they look like a mess after. Thanks to our Title I grants, $10,000 is donated to swim lessons for our community, making generational changes in how families can live by overcoming the fear and stigma of water. Thanks to our parent and family liaisons, working in our community have seen 72% growth in just 4 years. In 2020, we had 259 partners working with our schools. Last year, we had 447 partners now on the list, helping our students in incredible ways. As you can see on the screen, we had 150 sailors from the USS George H.W. Bush come and read with hundreds of our sixth graders as part of the 1,000 Points of Light Day. This year was our first ever participation in Naval Station Fleet Fest, where elementary students get to take part in hands-on STEM activities right on base. We have judges, journalists, meal providers, support career days, and even award-winning artists sit in on classes at middle and high schools to talk about possible professional pathways. Our Department of Communication, which, by the way, their entire staff is scattered around this room here today, capturing this morning's event, is making a name for our division on the national scale. Last year, we earned the division's first ever awards from the National Schools Public Relations Association, which is an incredible feat. This year, they upped the ante, doubling the amount of awards earned the year before, making them a 15-time national award-winning program. This work is produced under the leadership of our Chief Communications Officer, Dr. Lauren Nolasco, and she too has proven that Portsmouth can and should compete on the national level. Out of all the communication professionals in school districts and divisions across North America, Lauren was named as one of the top 4 by School CEO magazine by being named a finalist for its Excellent in School Marketing Award. Lauded for her work in crisis communications and building successful and creative campaigns, Lauren represented the division at the annual conference just 2 weeks ago in Little Rock, Arkansas. I'd have Lauren stand to be recognized, but she's running these slides for me, so you'll have to settle for her face on the screen. Speaking of national exposure, this year I also want to give credit to our performing arts team, Garen Moody and Joe Harmon, who have taken our own Porttown Magic students to new heights, quite literally. Our students were selected among performing arts groups from across the country to perform in Dallas, Texas, at the COSBA National Conference. I was there, and I can tell you, they stepped up and had the entire conference hall on its feet. You see, incredible things are happening right here in Portsmouth Public Schools, and more is coming. I've talked to you in great detail about the past, but I want to be clear, we're not resting on our successes, not hardly. We're focused on the future by developing incredible opportunities for our students. I mentioned earlier our new PACE Center. Just 2 months ago, we held our groundbreaking ceremony for the Portsmouth Advanced Career Education Center. We broke ground on this new PACE Center late in July, and we were joined by Congressman Bobby Scott, who was here with us, and we're always fortunate to have him and his support of our division. We were also joined by Senator Louise Lucas, who's been a longtime advocate for our CTE program. and a dedicated center in our division. I cannot talk about this center without noting that she secured an additional $2 million in state funding for the center. At the PACE Center, we plan to house several programs to provide comprehensive CT experience for students. These programs were deliberate choices because they require large amounts of designated space and equipment. 2 levels of building trades, which will consist of masonry, carpentry, plumbing, and electrical, will be a new program that we will implement at the CTE Center. Likewise, welding, auto tech, and 2 additional programs we would like to offer. These programs in particular require designated spaces, and they have been have specific safety and electrical and ventilation requirements. Some programs such as CNA and patient tech are existing PPS CTE programs that are housed at our high schools and will move over to the CTE Center because of the center's proximity to Bon Secours Hospital. CTE is just one exciting development for us. This year, we're thrilled to have launched our dual language immersion program. With DLI, we have kindergarten cohorts at 3 of our schools, where our students are embedded in Spanish instruction alongside English instruction, not only to master the content, but to develop bilingual capabilities. There are just 3 PPS DLI program sites. However, all PPS students are eligible to apply and receive transportation to one of these 3 designated schools based on their home address. This exciting opportunity is taught by bilingual teachers and instructional assistants, with the goal that all students will learn to read, write, and speak both in Spanish and English. Ahead of this school year, we had a family fiesta where parents could come in and see some of the instruction for themselves, as well as celebrate together for the new start of the school. We're roughly 2 months in, and the learning has been tremendous to witness. You can see why we're excited here this year, and there's more to come in the years ahead. We know that greatness is happening in this division. I want to invite you all to be a part of it. We're always looking for volunteers, community partners, to come alongside of us with this work and support the learning of today. In the meantime, thank you again for being part of today's event, and thank you for helping us shine bright in Portsmouth. Thank you.
Now, did I deliver or what? I'm 3 for 3, right? At this time, I'd like to acknowledge one of our bronze sponsors. They were late getting their information in. Well, they weren't late, the mail was late. And we had already sent our information to the printers. Franklin Edmondson, the Office of the Commissioner of Revenue, they're our bronze sponsors, and they were not able to be in our books. So I wanted to acknowledge them, and I want to thank them for all that they do for the city of Portsmouth. Now, as I sat in the back and listened to Dr. Bracy talk about all the wonderful things that are happening in the future for Portsmouth Public Schools, I was reminded of a brief story. I am a graduate of IC Norcom High School, and anyone who knows me knows that I always toot that. That's the best school or high school in the land. However, all of our schools are great. I know that because as a child, going to Churchland Elementary, riding that bus, I remember the first couple of weeks in first grade, we'd have to truck on across that bridge, and it seemed like I was going to another country, having been away from my family. And we would pull up in the back of the elementary school, and there was a young woman who reminded me of my mom. Now, if you are a native of Tidewater, you may remember her father. He was a DJ, Daddy Jack Holmes. Raise your hand if you remember that. And you remember his saying, "Get up from there, get up from there." Every morning, my mom had the radio on, and that's what we got up to when she was cooking breakfast. So Getting off the bus for the first couple of weeks, I was scared to death, but I noticed that there was a pool of kids getting in line to get a hug from her. So this was Patricia Holmes. She was our principal. So I got in line too. I was terrified. I had my book bag in one hand, my Mickey Mouse metal lunchbox in the other. You remember the kind that you couldn't turn over because if you did, everything would spill out? So I got in line and I got a hug from her probably for the next 2 or 3 weeks. After that, I got off that bus. I was ready to go, didn't need a hug. I knew where my classroom was. I was good to go. It was that confidence that she gave me and my parents gave me. And I want to tie that into the dedication from our administrators and our educators for Portsmouth. I remember you couldn't do anything in the hallways, and I know that still exists now. The educators, the teachers, the instructional assistants, the custodians, the cafeteria workers, they all play a hand in our students being educated. Whether it's straighten up, you know your mom wouldn't want that, or they're giving you information in the classroom to make you successful. That's that needed hug that they all need. That was a hug that I got in the 70s from Ms. Holmes. And I want to tell you that the next time you get a call, an invite, an email from a nonprofit such as the Portsmouth Schools Foundation, remember, you're giving that additional hug for a student. Our foundation was created in 1986, and it was created to offer resources for initiatives, programs, and anything that the school system was not able to give out. So the next time you get a call from me, don't block my number. Don't say, oh, I'll call her back. Just remember that needed hug that our students need. Okay? Thank you. Now, no event like this can be done alone. There are a lot of people that were working behind the scenes. I'd like to call up my board of directors. Please come up to the, you already know what it's for. We have a surprise for you, Dr. Bracy. Vincetta Dickerson, Glenda Battle, Dr. Bruce Copeland, Dr. Timothy Johnson, Susan Burton, David McClintock, Carly Briere, Jeffrey Miller, Dr. Wayne Williams, Angelia Allen, and I think I covered everybody. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Tisha Rosquet. Dr. Bracy, can you come on up? These men and women behind me make it possible. I'm sorry, Dr. Faye Felton and Angelo Davis. I'm sorry. Charge it to my heart, I'm over 50. Any fundraisers that we have for the foundation would not be possible if it wasn't for Dr. Bracy. Dr. Bracy. He is always there to lend a hand, a resource, anything that we need to be successful in any programs or initiatives that we have. And we wanted to acknowledge that and give you a plaque. That simply reads, with our greatest appreciation, Dr. Elie Bracy III, the Portsmouth Schools Foundation hereby presents you with this award in recognition for your ongoing commitment and dedication to the students and the families of Portsmouth Public Schools. Thank you so much. Yes.
Well, this part isn't scripted, but I want to once again thank the Portsmouth Schools Foundation. Can we give them another round of applause? And I definitely want to thank them and this group. They've worked extremely hard to put this together. We've been without an executive director for months now, but they work together as a team to put this event together. So I can't say enough about what they do because, as Ms. Hardy mentioned, what they do is for the students. You know, all the money that they raise goes immediately back out to our students as well as our staff with some of the mini grants that they provide. So they are a very important, instrumental part of what we do in our division. You know, we have budgets, but there are certain things that we can't fund that the foundation can take care of for us. So that's why we work together. We're separate entities, but we work together. If you give your money to the school division, can't give you tax credit for it. But if you give your money to the foundation, hey, you'll get that money back. So if you want to write a check now, when you do your taxes, you're going to get it right back. You'll get it right back. But once again, thank you all again for coming out and showing support, and I look forward to working with each of you throughout the rest of this school year. Thank you.
I believe that concludes our program. Thank you so much. Feel free to mingle. We still have beverages. Enjoy your afternoon. And I am 3 for 3. See you next year.